Hey, what's up everyone? I'm very happy to be back making these videos, reaching out to you guys. The whole purpose of these videos going forward is not to take over the world. I'm not looking for world domination. All I really want to do is spend a little bit more time with my clients here. And for you guys that come here and train, you guys know that the place is getting very busy, and it's getting harder and harder for me to get some one-on-one time with you guys and explain the finer details of making progress in training. So I want to make these videos going forward, and each week I want to address some topics that come up here in the gym in real life, things that I say to one client or that they ask me that I wish all of my clients knew. Okay, so going forward I'm going to be making these videos here and there just to try to spend a little bit more time with you on the weekends or whenever you decide to watch these videos, just so everybody can get a little bit more chance time, so to speak. So my first video, we're going to talk about something a little bit deep, but it's going to go right in to a nice segue into the very first topic that we can talk about this week. The first topic we are going to cover is how do you know when it's time to increase your training load? When you're coming to me and you're asking, hey coach, I think it's time that we step it up. What are some of the things and the factors you need to consider when asking that question, or before asking that question? Is it really time to add another day to push training a little bit further? So let's back up a little bit. These past few months, with the weather and all the things going on, and the COVID stuff going on. Obviously, it's been affecting everybody around the world. It's a very common thing for people to go through, and I feel it's important to give my perspective on it. But these past few months, you visit feeling a little bit depressed. Your energy level is down, and you're not as excited about things. And everybody deals with it, right? Especially because life is hard. Life is hard. When training gets hard and the training intensity gets beyond your ability to manage and recover from it, you start feeling like crap. Everything starts going down. You get weaker. Your joints start hurting. Well, life is the same way. When life starts getting really, really heavy beyond a point where you can manage it, you're going to start feeling that a little bit. Now, I feel it's important for people to understand that people say words have power, right? And so people will say, I am depressed. Well, no, that's not true. You are feeling depressed, right? But you can feel lots of things. You can feel energetic. You can feel skinny. You can feel fat. You can feel strong. You can feel weak, right? And when you feel those things, other than depression, like when you feel strong or when you feel weak, we tend to analyze why we feel like that, right? Okay, I feel strong because I did everything right, or I feel weak because I stayed up all night eating junk food, and now it's showing in the gym, right? But when it comes to depression, we tend to use the word I am depressed, and that's a little bit harder to shoulder, to carry, to feel like you can get out of it when you say that I am depressed. But when you start saying I feel depressed, right? Then you start thinking, well, why do I feel like this? Okay, because this is not who I am. I'm just feeling like it right now. So for me, if you have known about me for any length of time, you know that for, going on 12 years, well, even when I was in the Marines, before I even got out, I was already, gas pedal to the floor, had my sights set on the top, working to be one of the best at what I do. And it's been pretty nonstop, right? And, starting this gym up and, raising a family, 4 boys, wife, 3 dogs, 2 cats, the whole 9 yards. Life can get pretty hard. And, it's been nonstop for me for, over 10 years, on top of my home responsibilities, my in-person business responsibilities, but also the pressure I put on myself to, be the best, to fly around the world, to keep taking these seminars, these courses, these certifications, learning from the best. It's been a nonstop ride for me, and 100 miles an hour, not letting off. And it catches up to me every once in a while. I feel that pressure, I feel that training load, so to speak. And I have to back off every once in a while, but it's hard for me to do that, so it doesn't happen very often. I'm not very smart about it a lot of the times. Thankfully, though, my wife, Trish, she's a good sounding board for me, and I feel, if you're lucky enough to have a partner who you can use as a soundboard and sort of spring your feelings off of without the fear of judgment. Two, that's definitely a boost, even if you don't have, if you're not in a relationship or don't have a wife, a good friend, somebody, these are things that are critical to think about, right? But anyways, getting back on topic. So, I was going 100 miles an hour, and I realized I needed to, back off my training load, like we were saying, right? And for me, I need to take a few things off my plate and back off. I may want to do these things, but in reality, I can't handle it at the moment. It's piling up, and it's making me feel depressed, right? I'm starting to feel the symptoms of depression. So, I started noticing this several weeks ago, a few months ago, and, slowly starting backing off, and I'm starting to feel a lot better, right? Well, let's segue that into training. So every once in a while, I'll have a client say, I think it's time, that we ramp things up. I think I'm ready to push my training a little bit more. And so I sit down with them and I talk to them about what that means, right? Because, I've said this in past videos, life is not a Rocky movie, right? Your body doesn't run off of willpower. It runs off of calories. You need to rest. You need to take care of yourself. So just wanting to train harder and thinking that that's what you need, right? That's not going to cut it. If you're, let's say that, let's group everything in together, your training loads, your recovery, your hydration, your sleep, all those things. Let's group those into a numerical value. And if your total training, let's call it responsibility, if your training responsibility is at about 70%, you're doing about 70% as much as you could, and you're doing that 3 times a week, well, adding another day of 70% is not going to bring your training average up any past 70%, right? You're going to have to revisit those 3 days that you're training and doing everything at 70% and ask yourself, what can you do to bring that training load, the training responsibility, everything up to 80, 85%, 90%? What else can you squeeze out of those 3 days before adding a 4th day? Because it gets to the point where adding multiple days at that 70, 75% is really just going to dig you into a hole, right? The paradigm that everybody hears me say all the time here, that is that you can only train as hard as you can recover, okay? So number one, you want to look at, is your body asking for more? Is your body asking for heavier loads? Is it asking for another day in the week to train? Your mind may think that that's what you need, right? Okay, I'm not reaching my goals. I don't feel like I'm quite getting, I'm not getting to where I want to get to. Maybe I should add another training day, right? That's where a lot of people think. But what is your body telling you right now? Are your joints screaming? Do your muscles feel recovered? Do you feel like you're at 90 to 100% almost every training session you show up for? Because if not, like I said, adding another training day into that is probably just going to crash you. Some other things, the 3 days, okay, let's say your recovery and everything is on point. Are you getting everything out of those 3 days that you are showing up here to train for, okay? Now, sometimes what I see a lot here is, around, it's pretty ubiquitous, is that you'll save your effort for that last set and only that last set. So you might be sandbagging it, if it says 5 sets of 8 reps and those first 4 sets you're pushing a load that you could easily do for 15 reps, and then on that last set you really push it, well, you really only got 1 working set in when it really called for 5 working sets of 8 reps, right? So I give everybody here these awesome training logs in person, not online, not electronic. Nothing beats pen and paper, right? To log in your training loads, your reps, your sets, the weights that you use. And some people go about it one way, some people go about it another way, but I can say for sure there is a high correlation to the people who utilize those books fully. They writing down their weights for every set. There's a high correlation between those people and the people that see a lot of progress here, okay? The people who they scan the book and they leave it at the, they leave it up at the front, and they're kind of, going off of what they feel. There's also a high correlation between those people and the people that are seeing slower progress. Okay. So, what I tell everybody, day one, this is your book, right? What do you write down into it? You want to write down your successes, right? Your numbers. Those numbers reflect you, right? So use those books. That way, when you come back for the next training session, you can look back and you're not wasting 3 or 4 sets gauging on where you should be. You can look, you can know where you're going to be, and you're going to increase the training intensity of your sessions a lot, right? Now those 3 days that you were doing before, if you're squeezing everything out of them, you're going to see a lot more progress, right? So again, if you're adding a 4th day, but you're not really, your working sets aren't really there, right? You're adding maybe a few more working sets per workout by adding that 4th day, and it's just not worth it, right? So squeeze what you can out of the training sessions that you're doing, right? 3 days a week, people. If you're looking for performance, 3 days a week can take you a lot. Can take you a long way, right? A little side story about that. When I was younger, it was 6 days, 7 days a week training, no questions asked. You got to be in the gym that much to see progress. And back when I was younger, I could definitely handle it. And I've seen my training days slowly go down, but not without a fight, not without a lot of denial on my end. But my training days per week have definitely gone down. Just here in the recent past, I was training 4 to 5 days a week before I took on hiring another coach, my weightlifting coach, Dr. Herrera. I was putting it on myself to train 4 or 5 times a week. I was following a program written by another coach. I bought the program and I was following it. And my body was breaking down. It wasn't handling it very well. And then when I hired Dr. Herrera and I was going down to 4 days a week, my body got a little bit of fresh air or a little bit of room to breathe, and I was handling it a lot better. But then my training intensities went up, right? So now those 4 days, yes, I'm training 1 day less, but now my training intensity has gone up each session, and then my body, started catching up to my body then. So then I had to get back down to 3 days a week, right? 3 days a week, and I was seeing a lot of progress. I was better able to recover. But then, like I mentioned in the very beginning of this video, right, with the season setting on and, feeling depressed and the psychological impact of that was going on in my life, I've actually had to back down to training twice a week, right? So weights twice a week, doing jujitsu here and there as well, but not, training weights only twice a week. And I got to tell you, my body is appreciating taking that 1 day off. Now, when I decide to push the gas pedal back down, that's another question. I'm definitely going to wait until my body is asking for it, until my mind and body are both asking for it. But right now, 2 days a week, and I'm really happy with the results that I'm continuing to see. I'm not losing anything. I may not be gaining at a world record setting pace, but I'm definitely enjoying my time in the gym more, coming twice a week right now, or training twice a week. I'm here all the time, but training twice a week. So you've really got to pay attention to these things, okay? Are you handling training and are you handling all the aspects of recovery as well as you could be, right? And then the days that you are training, are you getting everything out of them that you can? Because here's the thing on my end, training the clients, right? I watch you guys all the time when you're here training. I'm coaching you. Obviously, I am. I'm also asking you, first thing when you come in, how are you doing? And I ask follow-up questions, how's your sleep? How's your hydration? What's your food like? All those things. So I'm asking those things while weighing against what you're showing me in your workout. So I feel I'm pretty good at escalating your workouts as I see your progress here in the gym. If you're killing it and I'm giving it to you and I'm like, wow, I feel like I kind of shortchanged you on that workout, you must be taking care of yourself a lot, right? So if you're crushing the workouts, the next time I write, next phase I write, next workout I write for you, that training intensity is going to go up, right? And I'll manage it and I'll back off and let you breathe here and there. But you got to understand, I'm not going to let people slide by in here, and that's pretty obvious for you guys that train here. You guys know that nobody gets away with a free workout, so to speak, here. So if you're asking me, about increasing your training intensity, what I take away from that is that what you're doing is you're really asking me, hey, what do I need to do to pick my training intensity up? I want to do this, right? You're not really asking me for harder workouts. You're saying I want to be able to handle harder training. So I hope this video was helpful in sort of clarifying some of those things. And remember, training like life like training can be hard. And sometimes you have to back off before you go at it again. That's just the nature of the beast. So don't be afraid to back off every once in a while. Just keep the habits in place. You know what I mean? So, even though my training was getting really hard and the psychological aspect of life was getting really hard, you have to keep the habits in place. Habits serve a strong and important psychological factor for people. And if you break that habit cycle, when you feel like you're ready to pick it up again, you're going to have to reestablish that new habit cycle, and it's just so hard. So even if you have to back training off, right, you still want to have the habit. You want to make sure that you don't replace that habit with something unhealthy like sitting around all day, not doing anything at all. But when your body and your mind are ready to ask for it again, the habit will be there. You just have to pick up the training intensity. It's not so hard. So again, thanks for watching. I hope to be spending a lot more time with you guys in these videos going forward in the future. Clients that train here, please, when you come in, if you have something you want me to talk about, bring it up to me. I'll start putting ideas up on the whiteboard and letting people vote for it. And even if you're not a client, if you've got some suggestions on things you want to hear me just sort of talk on about, please shoot me some messages and let me know. And I'll see you here in 5 Rings in the next video. Thanks for watching.